All right. Looks like we're live. Let me just make sure that it's up on all the platforms, y'all. What's up, Holly? How are you? Ciao. Let me just make sure we're live here. I might have just been talking. Yep, YouTube is up. All right, let's see what Rockfin's doing. Is Rockfin dancing? Rockfin's dancing. All right. What's up, everybody? How are we? Good afternoon. Or good morning if you're in my time zone. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Let me officially start. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, if you're in my time zone. And to everyone catching this live, happy Mother's Day. And to everyone catching this later, happy belated Mother's Day. For all the moms out there, thank you very much for everything you do. And in particular, I want to give a special shout out to my sister because it is her first Mother's Day. So, very, very exciting. I'll be giving her a call later. And I hope she got, well, I know she got my gift. It arrived in the mail. But anyway, it is my sister's first Mother's Day. So, very happy for her and my niece. And I will be calling them later. And keep in mind, y'all, Mother's Day has roots in anti-war movements. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. First of all, I will continue to announce this. Get Your News On with Ron will be switching formats next month. It's not going away. Some of you have been emailing me. You're like, we're really going to miss Get Your News On with Ron. There's no reason to miss it. It's not going anywhere. Well, it is. It's changing, but it's not leaving. So what's going to be the big change here? So the audio podcast is not going to happen anymore come June to make room for a new podcast series that I'm going to be talking about in the next stream. So what's going to happen with Get Your News On with Ron? Well, it's going to be more of just a casual stream. We're still going to do stories and stuff like that, but it's going to be more interactive. It's going to be more casual. And instead of two streams the way it is now, where I do a full length stream and then I do a chat stream that is available for patrons only after the fact. It's just going to be one big stream, and then that's going to be available for patrons only after the fact. So the best way to stay in the loop with everything that you've come to know and love and everything that's coming down the pipeline is to become a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone for a give what you can level. Again, the suggested tier is $5 because I have to put some suggested tier, but it can be any amount you want, as low as 1 unit of your currency. So £1, $1, $1 Canadian, you get the idea. But 1 unit of your currency is all it takes. And you get all of the patron streams, full-length patron streams. You get full-length stand-up sets, not available anywhere else. I dropped my entire set from my last Glendale Room show in April. I'll probably be dropping the entire set from this past one on Friday. Which, by the way, shout out to everyone who came out on Friday. That was an awesome, awesome time. Thank you so much for ending the round of shows on an awesome note. All 3 shows were freaking awesome. The Glendale Room is my new favorite venue in the Los Angeles area. For all the LA folks who have not been there yet, check it out. Check out a show there. I probably won't be back there doing a headlining show until next year, but in the meantime, check it out. So thank you so much, LA, for giving me an awesome string of shows to work out my Edinburgh hour. Next step, of course, going to the Midwest, and then, of course, to Edinburgh, Scotland for the Fringe Festival. So thank you all very much for that. Very much appreciated. And yeah, best way to stay abreast of everything Get Your News On with Ron centric and get a bunch of other cool perks is to join my Patreon, which you can join for as low as $1 a month. So that's the happening with Get Your News On with Ron. Audio podcast is going away next month, but the show will continue as a stream. And I'm going to be making way for my new flagship podcast that I am so excited about. I'm going to be talking about it in the next stream here coming up. So if you want to get hip to it right away, again, become a patron, patreon.com/Ron Placone. All right, so we got a lot of happenings today. First of all, an update on the WGA strike. We're going to be diving into that. Also, the EARNIT Act is back, and simultaneously, guess which platform is not really good with encrypted messages? We're going to be diving into that. But first, we got a message from Australia. We got a little bit of news from down under, and this comes to us compliments of Glenn. Thank you so much for this, Glenn. Hope you are well. Hope all is well in Australia. But did Australia, this is a little bit of climate news, Did Australia basically prove once and for all that renewables are cheaper? Check this out, y'all. Drop in wholesale power prices as renewable energy generation from wind and solar grows. This is from the AMO, and this is a report straight from Australia. AMO stands for the Australian Energy Market Operator, which honestly, off the top of my head, I do not know that. I just read it now. For those of you who think I knew that in advance, I didn't off the top of my head. I knew it was some kind of thing, but I was like, oh, what does that stand for again? Damn it. But there it was right in front of me. All right. So this is from the article, and this is from ABC out in Australia. Surging renewable energy output has pushed fossil fuel fire generation down to record low levels in Australia's biggest electricity grid, triggering another big fall in wholesale prices. The Australian Energy Market Operator, AML, which of course I knew that, which runs the national electricity market covering the eastern state, said power prices had tumbled in the 3 months to the end of March. Average prices were $83 a megawatt hour for the period, a 10% decrease compared with the previous 3 months, and a whopping 62% lower than September quarter last year. The findings were outlined in AMO's latest quarterly report, which showed the extraordinary growth of output from green energy sources such as wind and solar. AMO said the amount of electricity produced by Australia's vast array of rooftop solar panels jumped by 23% on average compared with the same period in 2022. Generation from large-scale wind and solar farms also surged up. So as we're using more and more renewables, costs are going down. And it's also better for the planet. It's way better for the planet, and it's cheaper. Now, I know that like just using renewables alone isn't enough. There's other steps that we need to take. We need to get off of fossil fuels completely. First of all, we also need to completely change the way our supply chains work. We need to have some adaptation. There's some damage that has already been done, folks, and we're going to have some adaptation. So I know it's not like a one size fits all solution here to deal with the climate crisis. We're not going to avoid it, but to be able to deal with it and continue as a species. But this is some good news, dare I say. According to AMO, gas-fired generation dips its lowest in almost 20 years. While the steady decline of both black and brown coal power showed few signs of slowing. Daniel Westerman, the chief executive of AMO, said the March quarter highlighted the fundamental changes underway as the electricity system moved from fossil fuels to renewable resources. However, Mr. Westerman said it also underscored the need for new transmission lines and backup firming sources of power, such as pumped hydro and batteries, to help the grid cope with the shift. All right. So it looks like they're getting such a demand for renewables now that they need to expand it and have some backups, basically. So that's awesome. This is some good news. Dare I say this is some good news. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid we get a little bit of good news ever. But we got a little bit of good news, and that's a good thing. So Australia. Again, when you hear about stuff like this happening in other countries, it gives you a little bit of hope because the United States is so far behind. And I know the United States is not the only polluter in the world. I would never suggest otherwise. But the United States, I think, is my prediction, and I take no joy in this prediction, but my prediction is that other countries are really going to lead the way. Countries like Australia, countries like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, they've done some amazing things already. And I really do think that those countries are going to lead the way and drag the United States along kicking and screaming. Other people disagree with that. They think that the United States needs to lead the way. And to those people, all I can say is I hope not. Because I think if we're counting on the United States to lead the way, we're in a lot of trouble. Because I just do not have any confidence that they will do it. Don't have any confidence in our leadership, folks. None. All right, so let's go to a WGA update. Thanks again, Glenn, for sharing that information. So the writer's strike has been going on. We've been covering it a lot on the show. I've been talking about it a lot, both on this show and on Status Coup. So here's how long they're saying it could last. This is from CBS. Writer's strike could drag on until the summer or past the summer, till the end of summer. So the writer's strike could drag on until the end of summer. Now, I love this article. So this article is from CBS, and of course, they open, as so many of these articles in the corporate press do, they open by talking about all the stuff you might have to miss. They don't talk about how the workers are being impacted or how the studios are making record profits while they're not even paying writers a living wage in many cases. They're not talking about how the very idea of being a creative in Hollywood is just being eliminated. They talk about what shows you might be missing. So here they go. Late night talk shows were the first casualties of the Hollywood writer strike, with production on the nightly program shutting down almost immediately as WGA members demand better wages and greater job security. More than a week into the protest, scripted TV shows are also being forced to air reruns since no new material is being created. Viewers will likely start to notice a lack of new content on streaming platforms and television networks soon as well. Pretty much every show is being affected. Oh, man. And you know why? It's because other people are not crossing the picket line. The Teamsters are not crossing the picket line for the WGA. And a bunch of people at IATSE, which is the stage and theatrical employees, that's like camera grips, makeup, stuff like that, they might follow suit. And SAG-AFTRA might be following suit. SAG-AFTRA might do a wildcat strike. I hope they do. I sincerely hope they do. So you see a bunch of you're seeing a lot of solidarity here, which is encouraging. What's not encouraging, again, is how long the studios can probably hold out on this thing. The studios have, and by studios I mean the Netflixes, the Hulus, they have a ton of freaking content, a ton, and they're going to hold out as long as they can. And what can they do in the interim, too? They can start buying foreign content not produced in the United States. However, there has been some international solidarity as well of people overseas not dealing with these struck companies. But they can also, there's still things they can do, things in the unscripted area, reality television, game shows, stuff like that. However, once again, there's been some solidarity across the industry, and it really has brought production to a halt. And again, on a personal level, it's just so crazy for me. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. If you came to Hollywood in 2019 and you wanted to be a writer, wanted to be a creative, whatever, you've only seen the industry at full capacity for maybe a year total. I mean, think about that. It's like, obviously, we know what happened in 2020, 2021, and even into 2022. And now the strike's happening. So if you moved, say, in 2019, you're like, I'm going to take my chance on a dream. I'm going to Los Angeles. You've only seen maybe a year of an actual functioning industry. And I gotta say, on a personal level, I came to Los Angeles to find work as a creative professional. I was a road comic for many years. A lot of you know this. I've talked about it, but I was a road comic for many years, and I decided that I didn't want to travel 45 weeks a year for the rest of my life. I wanted to kind of do something in the biz, as they like to put it. So I went to Los Angeles, or came to Los Angeles, with the hopes of writing on a show or something like that. And, things kind of transpired accordingly. And it brings us to present day. And fortunately, there's still stuff going on in LA that is in the independent space that is kind of immune from, the kind of studio world. But so much stuff is just at a standstill right now. And it's crazy to see. I mean, it is crazy to see. It's tough to predict what's going to happen. I mean, part of me, when I see this solidarity and I see like, okay, the Teamsters aren't crossing a picket line. A bunch of IATSE people are standing in solidarity. SAG-AFTRA people are standing in solidarity. Shoots are being shut down. They're literally shutting down the entire industry. I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, okay, This is a really bad look for the studios. They gotta give in. They gotta just give the writers a fair deal, and then everyone can go back to work. I think that, but then you think about these studios and you think about what their priorities really are. And let's be honest about what their priorities are. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but their priorities are their shareholders and profits. That's all they care about. They don't care about appearances because where else are you going to go, consumer? Where else are you going to go? What's the alternative to Netflix on the scale of Netflix? It doesn't really exist. So where are you going to go? They know that. So their big concern is, are our shareholders happy? And as long as they're happy in the short term, as long as the numbers look good at the end of each quarter, they'll probably still wait this thing out, which is freaking frightening because in the interim, they're literally destroying. They're just destroying what's left of the industry. And man, is that something. So let's go to we're going to go to the EARNIT Act. And but before we go to the EARNIT Act and I get into what that is, I want to deal with something that relates to just encrypted messages as a whole. So encryption messages just means you have encrypted protection. It's like a wall-to-wall protection thing that makes basically makes hacking your messages very, very difficult, next to impossible. If you are using encrypted protected messaging, the only way someone could really get into that is if they had your device, pretty much, or if they were just somehow into your account. And there has been a campaign with Fight for the Future that has demanded encryption protection across all social media, called "Keep DM" or "Make Our DMs." What's the? Let me make DM safe. Let me make sure I give you the right URL there. MakeDMSafe.com. Yeah, MakeDMsSafe.com. So that's makedmsafe.com. Please do sign that petition if you haven't already, by the way. We've been pushing that for a while because what's going on is places like Facebook in particular are sharing DMs to law enforcement when it comes to people looking for abortion information, because we're living in a post Roe v. Wade society. So Facebook is cooperating with law enforcement trying to catch people who are seeking abortion information in states where abortion is not okay anymore. So yeah, one of the many reasons we're demanding encryption protection across social media. Now, Elon Musk has said that he likes the idea of encryption protection across social media. One of the few things I agree with the guy on. Hey, that's cool, man. You're for encryption. I am too. Guess what, Elon? You own Twitter. So is Twitter going to have encrypted DMs? Is that going to happen? Well, it's sort of happening, but here's the details. It turns out not great. All right, check this out. Twitter's encrypted DMs are deeply inferior to Signal and WhatsApp. The social network's new privacy feature is technically flawed, opt-in, and limited in its functionality. All this for just $8 a month. So Elon Musk's long-promised launch of encrypted direct messages on Twitter has arrived. Like most attempts to add end-to-end encryption to a massive existing platform, never an easy proposition. There's good, bad, and ugly. The good, Twitter has added an optional layer of security that has never existed. As for the bad and ugly, well, that list is a lot longer. So what's all going on here? The company appeared to have stopped short of calling the feature end-to-end encrypted, the term that would mean only users on the two ends of conversations can read messages, rather than hackers, government agencies that can eavesdrop on those messages, or even Twitter itself. Okay, so they can't call it end-to-end encryption. Why? Because that feature is only available for people who pay for Twitter. So let's say somebody pays for Twitter, they have that feature turned on, they DM somebody who doesn't pay for Twitter. Guess what? That's not end-to-end encryption, because not both parties involved have encrypted DMs. The encryption feature is opt-in, for instance, not turned on by default, a decision for which Facebook Messenger has received criticism. So even if you're paying for Twitter, if you don't realize you have to turn that on, which maybe you know that, maybe you don't have it either. So let's see. There's more here. So check this out. While Twitter is remarkably transparent about its encrypted DM feature shortcoming on its Help Center page, so if you're going to the Help Center, you'll see stuff. People worried that its flaws may not be as clear as the actual web and app interface that users see. So here's somebody who they've been quoting on this. I think it was a good choice for the help page to try from the very first paragraph to manage expectations. It remains to be seen whether Twitter users will believe that encrypted DMs offer more privacy and security than they actually do. Perhaps the most serious drawback to Twitter's encrypted DMs is simply that very few of its users will have the ability to send or receive them. The feature, at least for now, only works between two verified accounts, both of which must be verified institutions or users who pay $8 a month for their blue check mark. This shouldn't be something you have to pay for. You shouldn't have to pay for basic security. The notion of end-to-end encrypted Twitter DMs might one day offer a crucial new method of finding someone online and sending them a secret message. After all, Signal and WhatsApp biggest drawback is that they both require you to know a person's cell phone number, while Twitter DMs allow strangers to interact more freely. But as long as the encrypted DM feature is only available to send messages to and from verified accounts, its network will, by some measures, be even more restricted, limited to only a tiny fraction of Twitter's overall users. For Twitter's security-conscious users, there remains only one way to send someone an encryption message, and it hasn't changed in years. Send someone a DM, ask for their Signal number, and use Signal to start an actual end-to-end encrypted conversation. So in short, Twitter's thing is deeply flawed because they don't offer it to everybody. So there's no way to have end-to-end encryption if both people don't have encryption. And if you don't pay for Twitter, you don't have encryption. Great job, Elon. Once again, you are crushing it. It's incredible. So this brings us to the EARNIT Act. Now, why do I bring up the EARNIT Act? So the EARNIT Act is a piece of legislation that has been introduced in 2020 and in 2022. It is under the guise of protecting children online from very, very terrible things like sexual exploitation and things like that. Terrible things that everybody is full-throatedly against. Yet this bill has been tabled in both 2020 and 2022 due to public outcry and serious security concerns. Well, gee, why? That's such a noble cause that surely everyone is for. Why was this bill tabled? Well, because this bill would allow the potential scanning by government agencies and elsewhere on all of your online messages, all of them, basically gutting encryption entirely. Here's a call to action that you can go to right now. This URL is noearnitact.org. I'll drop it in the chat as well. This is from Fight for the Future, who, full disclaimer, I collaborate with. Stop the EARNIT Act. This bill makes kids less safe, not more safe, and it would kill online privacy and free expression. Tell your lawmakers to oppose it. Red alert. Congress is reintroducing the EARNIT Act. You know how it works in the U.S. Third time's a charm. A dangerous and misleading bill that claims to be about protecting children, but would actually put all of us in danger. The EARNIT Act of 2023 threatens to undermine online encryption. And by repeating the same mistake as the previous bill called Sesta Fosta, it would lead to widespread internet censorship and crackdowns on marginalized communities. Well, EARNIT was previously introduced in 2020 and 2022. It was shelved in the face of overwhelming public outcry and opposition from human rights groups. Now, lawmakers are introducing EARNIT for a third time, and they're hoping to pass it and break the internet while we're distracted. Sign the petition below to tell Congress, don't attack online encryption, protect free speech, and reject the dangerous EARNIT Act. I will drop this in the chat. It is noearnitact.org. Please do check it out. Check it out. Noearnitact.org. I'll drop it over on the Rockfin as well. Boom. And yeah, it's just crazy that when it comes to horrible legislation, they just keep introducing it like it's no tomorrow. But when it comes to decent legislation, they'll introduce it, then forget about it for a really long time. And it never makes it out of committee and blah, blah, blah. Can we have the same healthcare that the rest of the industrialized world has? Somehow we can't figure it out. Every other industrialized nation in the world has figured it out, no problem. But the United States, we just can't possibly do that. Oh, except we can. We just have a bunch of for-profit middlemen who have a lot of power and influence that are stopping that from happening because it's making them rich. So we can't have the healthcare that the rest of the world has. We'll reintroduce it every now and again. Imagine if they reintroduced Medicare for all the same way they try to pummel in bills like this. They reintroduce it. It's mostly just a symbolic thing. It usually goes nowhere. I mean, why am I saying usually? It always goes nowhere. Oh, so frustrating. All right, let me go to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Red Z, what's up? How are you? Let me do the little thing where I show it. Good to see you. Here, hold on. Let me scroll so I can show it on the screen. Why am I not? Oh, there it goes. Okay. What's up, Red Z? Sup? Burn, Hollywood burn. Good work. Thank you for that, Red Z. I do not agree with the sentiment, but thank you for that. I get what you're saying though. But I don't agree with the sentiment, but I hear what you're saying. Why don't we I would change it to Hollywood as we know it. How about that instead? Hollywood as we know it. Because there's a lot of different creatives in Hollywood, okay? It's not, but how about Hollywood as we know it? Change. That I'm for. That I'm for. But ending the whole thing, that'd be a bit of a bummer. That's what I think. Roger, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thank you for the Rockfin tip. Ron, recently the California Public Banking Alliance was able to get Newsom to sign into law a permission slip home rule, allowing 10 regional public banks and some additional municipal public banks. Various public banks in California are currently in the works. Yeah, that happened a while ago, to the best of my knowledge. I'm reaching out to someone I know who's part of CPBA to hook you up for an interview. Watch your direct messages in the coming week, but first I must ask, are you down? Yeah, I'm down. And best way to do it, Roger, and I say this to everybody, is email me. My email address is right on my website. You go to ronplacone.com, you go to a contact form, you fill it out. I'm pretty sure we've emailed before, Roger. I'm pretty sure you and I have emailed before, so you have my direct email address. It's just ronplaconebooking@gmail.com. Email me there. Best way. DMs get lost sometimes, especially on Twitter, because I'm on a bunch of DM threads. Emails, best way for me to keep track of everything. Again, ronplacone@gmail.com. Guess this means we are going to be seeing a lot more reality TV shows. Roger goes on to say, yes, that is what it means. AKA scab shows with scab participants. Well, I guess it's hard to say. I mean, yeah, technically you're right. But I guess if reality TV is permissible, you can't necessarily directly call those people scabs. I don't know. I mean, it's complicated and the rules change every day, but I see what you're saying. One asks, well, what are we going to do without our shows? Gee, I don't know. Go back to reading books. Right, Roger? I hear you. Also, Ron, I stopped using WhatsApp because of security issues. Is it safe now? Question mark. Also, one IT guy to another. Start an initiative as an amendment for stationalized broadband infrastructure with a state ISP. Okay, so one thing at a time there. Is WhatsApp secure? Here's the difference between WhatsApp and Signal, to the best of my knowledge. And again, I'm not a tech expert either, but both WhatsApp and Signal are end-to-end encryption. So if you're worried about encryption protection, you do have that with both WhatsApp and Signal. The difference between WhatsApp and Signal that makes Signal a little bit more desirable is that WhatsApp is a little more pushing their luck, so to speak, when it comes to your metadata. WhatsApp is basically peeking around there a little bit more than Signal is. So, I personally use WhatsApp, and why do I use WhatsApp? Well, because just so many more people are on it. WhatsApp it makes it a lot easier for me to keep in touch with my Italian family. It makes it a lot easier for me to keep in touch with a lot of my Italian colleagues, and just international colleagues in general and friends. So that's why I still use WhatsApp. Not everybody is on Signal, and WhatsApp is just more convenient in that regard. So I still use it. I don't really have many concerns with it. It does, again, provide end-to-end encryption. That is true. However, it's a little more liberal, dare I say, with not politically liberal, but you know what I mean. A little more liberal with the with the metadata. So I have no concerns using WhatsApp as of right now and as of the recording of this. If you do, I can't, like I'm not going to try to change your mind. That's a personal decision. But for me, WhatsApp, so many more people are on it, and they're people who I like to be able to communicate with easier. So WhatsApp is a worthwhile tool to me. And, I don't really have that much hesitancy because, again, you still have end-to-end encryption protection. But that's the big difference between those two, to the best of my knowledge. So there you go. Okay, cool. We've reached consensus. Red Z's on board. That's cool. Excellent. So Hollywood as we know it, evolve, change. The too big to fail Marvel movie system. Time for it to go. But here's the thing most people don't realize. 99% of what is quote unquote Hollywood agrees with that sentiment. Even most of the people who work on those movies, like someone who's like, they'd rather have more stuff to work on. You know what I mean? Like most people in Hollywood want the system. It'd be like blaming all of the Amazon workers for what Jeff Bezos does. It's like, it's not like, it's not how it works. But yeah, but I do hear you. I mean, and maybe this will be a change. I mean, I have a hard time getting my hopes up because it's like the industry has just been so effed up for most of the time that I've been here. I've been here since 2016 here in LA. And I mean, look, it's like, we had the pandemic, we've had all this other stuff, and it's just like, what the heck, So I don't know. Maybe this will be a wake up for a better tomorrow, but it's kind of hard to get my hopes up if I'm being honest. But we got to try. So support the WGA, and you can find out where actions are if you're in the area. You can find out other things you can do to help. You can go straight to their website, the WGA strike website. You can find that online easily. Please go to noearnitact.org and sign that petition. Again, that's noearnitact.org. For everyone catching this live, I dropped it in the chat. And folks, tour dates, I got them. June 16th, Madison, Wisconsin. June 17th, Minneapolis. June 23rd, Detroit, Michigan. June 28th, Bloomington, Indiana. June 29th, Chicago. Also, Edinburgh. I'm going to be in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, August 16th through 27th. Those shows are free, so just check out all the information on my website. And October 21st, doing a show in my neighborhood of San Pedro. I'm doing a comedy series in my neighborhood. Our first show is October 21st. There's going to be some great LA comics on that bill. Check it all out and get all tickets and information at romplacone.com. And of course, if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, best thing to do is become a patron. Patreon.com/romplacone for a give what you can level. You get all kinds of cool exclusive perks, including all of the replays of the patron stream, which, by the way, don't go anywhere, y'all, because we're going to have a patron stream right after this. Now, the patron stream goes out to everybody. Everybody is welcome to tune in. However, the replay is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. And it's kind of a post chat, if you will. We're going to just chat about the show and any other topic that's on your mind. So please save your questions. If you can drop a super chat, then it'd be awesome. And I will get to everyone's questions and thoughts. So do not go anywhere. Everyone catching this live, everyone catching the podcast later. We're switching it up in June. Audio podcast isn't going to be around anymore. So please, patreon.com/romplacone. Guys, I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. Everyone catching this live. And in the meantime, you guys know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. Thank you, Roger Meadows, and thank you, Red Z, for your super chat contributions and Rockfin tips. I appreciate it very, very much. And yeah, Roger, feel free to drop me an email about that. That would be most helpful. And you guys know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. I say peace, love, and a general strike.